Gotcha.
What's up, everybody? You're tuned into the Under the Street Latin podcast with the L.A fellas. We got my boy DB Cooper in the house. It's good to have the co-host back. And today we have a special guest. We have Mr. MISFIT Soto in the building. MISFIT, hey, thanks again, man, for coming through. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, man. So I want to just get right into it. One thing is, I want to talk a little bit about your music, because I don't want to say it for you, but just a side note that DB and I had earlier was you have a really wide body of work. And the sound, I think is the right word, is eclectic, because you have so many different beats that go faster to slower, to one where you're very pronounced, other ones where you're kind of like a more mellow, low key, like back of the neck. Reminds me kind of like a Nas in certain ways, but enough fanboy stuff. What would you say? How did you first start getting into music?
Well, my older brother, I have two brothers, right? One's older, the other's the oldest. You know what I'm saying? So two of them, 5 years apart. We're each spread 5 years apart. So my oldest brother, he was rapping, doing hip hop, maybe like in the 90s, early 90s. So I grew up just watching him, and taking me to studios in Hollywood, like when I was like 11 years old. And since then I was just always just like a student of the game, I used to just watch him until, I started like wanting to do my own thing. And so when I first told him that I could rap, he always had a little studio, and he lived in the front house, so he always had a little studio in the back room.
Okay.
So when I told him I could rap, I was like 14, freshman in high school, something like that. And then so he's like, nah. I was like, yeah. So, he used to have these parties every year for New Year's. And I just rapped at one of the parties, with all his peoples right there.
Okay.
After that, he's like, hey, come through and record. Called come through and record. So he taught me how to engineer everything. And from there on, it was a rap, and I just started doing my own thing, got my own little setup, and just started experimenting with things. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. Just a side note was called, because the AC is on. It's kind of, you could just project a little bit.
Oh,
my bad. You kind of a little
bad.
bit louder. My bad. I don't like to tell a man how to talk.
But also, so MISFIT Soto, that's your name.
Yeah,
How'd you come up with that?
Well, I came up. Well, just MISFIT Soto, because my last name's Soto, and just MISFIT, just because I felt at a certain time that I really didn't go with what was going on in music, like hip hop, and especially in the underground hip hop. That's where I felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
With the L.A. Underground hip hop scene, you know what I'm saying? And I always looked at that scene as a bunch of, people that were just misfits. They didn't belong anywhere, so they just got together and did their own thing, So that was the culture that I was a part of.
Right. People out there doing it regardless of
Leimert Park, right there in 43rd and Leimert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Leimert Park, Project Blow. That's where I started to learn the game as far as, right now, if you listen to music, everybody sounds the same. A lot of people sound the same, but you couldn't do that in the underground. You couldn't do that. You'd be called a biter.
Right.
You'd be called
unique,
what I'm saying? It's like, man, this was biting this one. He sounds like this guy. Like that was no good.
Yeah.
Like you had to take whatever you could and then flip it and make it your own. You had 30 different rappers that all rap fast, but each of their styles was different. You could still tell, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So it was a craft that you actually had to practice. It's not something that you just had to, turn on the mic and like nah. You had to really go up in there and be like, okay, how am I gonna say this, and try to play with your cadence. You know
right. I noticed that. Your cadence, it changes up a lot. Like we were saying earlier, the work. Mm-hmm. You couldn't really. I couldn't pinpoint yet a song was like this is MISFIT Soto style, except for the melodic beat. Those melodic beats, bro.
Yeah,
that really stands out. Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
But you're a rapper, but you also produce, right?
Oh yeah. I make mostly all my own beats.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been trying to focus more on just working with other producers. Yeah. But like for the most part, I said my catalog, about 95% of it is all my beats.
Oh wow, okay. Okay, so who produced DNA Bullies?
DNA Bullies, that was a beat that was given to me by, I forgot who it was, but I get beats in my email all day, bro.
Okay.
So yeah, somebody sent me that beat, and I was just like, okay. I started playing with it. And,
well, you killed though. That was dope.
Yeah. That was a simple little key loop or something like that, and I just liked it. I liked the sound of it, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rock with this one, you know.
I think that melodic beat was real good. That was good. I saw you did a collabo with Cujo the Savage.
Oh yeah, me and Cujo, we go way back. We used to have a lot. I mean, we used to really like do this shit together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, back when he was with High Power, like at the beginning of his career.
Okay.
I was like, nobody knew who I was, so he used to get on his live and be like, hey, follow my boy Misfit, this is my producer right here. So I just used to produce. Yeah, I used to produce for him, and you know, little by little, I started. People started following me and getting, you know. Then me and him started doing music and putting stuff out together. And then for a while, you know, he just kind of split off, did his own thing, and that's when I just, you know,
sure.
kept on doing my thing.
I noticed that's where more of your, if I could call it, more like your aggressive side of rap came out. When I heard you collab with Cujo, it started to seem like more like man, I was like, this is like old school hip hop. I was like, this is dope.
I had to keep up with Cujo. Cujo is he's a very aggressive when he's you know, like I mean, the thing with him, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, is like the thing with him is his energy, right? Like if you don't feed it, if you're a yes man and you keep on telling him that's dope, he's gonna stay here.
Right.
So I would always be like, that's not it, bro. That's whack, bro. Straight up.
You're trying to elevate his game.
I mean, just because I knew his potential, I'd always be like, nah, that ain't it. We would be doing a song, and he'd be doing his verse, and then we'd be spending like 30, 45 minutes just on his verse, like, you know, trying to get his sound right. And if we weren't getting it, I'd be like, nah, and I'd delete the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he used to get pissed, but he's like, for real? I'm like, yeah, dog, let's go. And so we would just move on to the next one. But that kind of helped him, like, okay, every time I get on here, I got to come harder, you know. And I just, you know, for the most part, I just hope that you know, no artist ever finds himself in a space where there's nothing but yes men around them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where they have people around them that could be like, hey, that ain't it, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of corny. It sounds like this, and you know, because that's the type of person I am. If I don't like it, I'm gonna tell you straight up, because
that's good.
I mean, more than anything, like, you know, I don't keep my mouth straight. You can ask my cousin Baby Bounce. My cousin Baby Bounce, I hear some shit that somebody shows you, I'll be like, hey, boy, that song sucks, dog. Like,
oh,
you know,
man, you and DB Cooper should go bowling sometime. Because he ain't never satisfied with nothing. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way to push. I mean, that's just the way, you know what I'm saying, like, I really do. And they probably don't care, but that's just the way I show them, like, come on, you better than this. You can do this shit, man. Like, you know, because I want to hear greatness out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's also an element of danger. I don't mean like physical danger, but there's an element of danger if you surround yourself with people that are, like you said, yes men. They only always agree with you.
Of course.
You know, that's not safe. It's not a safe space to be.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you know what? And not only that, it's like when you're surrounded by people like that, man, it puts a standstill on everything, bro. Like it keeps you like I said, at bay. It keeps you here.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps you here. It keeps your mind from working harder. It keeps you from being creative, because you're like, you figure, okay, well, this is it. This is what they want, or this is dope. This is what I'm doing. It's working. Rather than being like, damn, what could I do different on this one?
Yeah.
What could I do different on this one? Ooh, how can I wow people with this one? You know what I'm saying? Like, what should I say, or what should I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, when me and him were in the studio, we used to do little parts of the song and be like, okay, let's flip it up here, boom, boom, in the middle of the song, or flip this part here, do the hook here, and just stuff like that. You know what I mean? We used to get creative with it. But you know, from my experience, you know, yeah, Cujo's one of the MCs that I think is dope and needs to have no yes men around him. You know what I'm saying?
So Misfit, like, so basically what you're telling me is that you've been a student of the fucking game since you're a pup, right? Young pup, right? Looking back, was there someone that was in that scene that said, fuck, like, this fucking cat, he's dope?
Well,
that
you know,
it's not like mainstream right now. You know what I mean?
You know what? It wasn't that they were like, oh, he's dope. I haven't even asked him why he did it, but I have like my OG. My OG is his name is L.A Cool.
Okay.
L.A Cool, the rifleman. He's a older black dude. You know what I'm saying? But he never. I mean, he's about 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
You know, and I met him when I was 16, and so. At the time, he was 26. He was wild. He used to carry a rifle in his trunk.
Okay.
Like, he was crazy. He's from South Central. Gang banging and everything, but still an artist at heart and pure to his soul. What he is an artist. And so he took me under his wing. A 16-year-old Mexican kid. Like, I still haven't asked him, hey, fool, why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like, and his son is also one of the hottest in LA right now. His son is Almighty Suspect. So
Almighty Suspect.
yeah. So his son, I met when he was 1 year old. So when I first met L.A Cool, he had pulled up on me to my pad in his car with a baby in the back seat, selling CDs to me.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Because I had talked to him on the message boards like, hey, where can I get some L.A Cool, some Rifleman CDs? And he's like, shit, I'll drop them off. I'm like, oh, damn.
On the grind.
And this was no social media. This was message boards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So exchanged info. He pulled up, the 1 year old, maybe not even one, with a baby in the back seat. Think about it now. I'm like, damn, that was Almighty Suspect. You know what I'm saying? That was fire right now. So, but
wow, okay.
yeah. So he took me under his wing. I used to go to the Project Blowed, and he's just like. He hooked me up with his cousin Pterodactyl, who's also like, these names are unique because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the whole culture is unique.
Yeah.
You got to be different, and so that's where I learned like the basic rule, or just the base. Like I got fed that knowledge and that experience, and it just became a part of me.
So
You know what I'm saying? And he used to. Okay, so I live in Hawthorne. He lived in South Central. And then there's Hollywood, right? So when he had a show in Hollywood, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a license. He would actually drive from South Central to my house to pick me up, go all the way. He'd do a show in Hollywood just so I could get on stage and do one verse. Because he'd be like, hey, yo, check this out. Homie's about to get on here. And so I get on stage and I do 16 bars, bro. That's it. And then he'd drive me all the way back home.
Man.
And then,
that's love right there.
Yeah,
That's love.
Talk about how they say actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, and he did that shit for years for me, bro. And like I said, I was 16, 17. And then one time we was even walking, this is when the knitting factory was still open. We were walking down into the knitting factory and somebody had said, they were, talking shit. And then these fools were like, what you gonna do, right? And somebody said, something studio gangsters, right? And so these fools were like, oh, really? And so I'm over here just walking and I'm like, oh shit, something's about to go down. So the homie runs over to this fool's car, opens up the car door, and just starts bombing.
Oh shit.
Boom, boom, boom. The homie Pterodactyl runs, same thing. Starts, and then I'm over here like, oh shit. I turn around, some fool runs, boom, like dislocates my jaw, bro.
Oh shit.
They got me and I'm still going at it. Boom, 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 boom. And so that was just a funny story.
Nah, I love to hear shit like that because again, it kind of shows some of your early stages, how where you come from.
Oh
that's
yeah,
dope,
those were like I said, man, that was me being young in the game and just being like, hell yeah, I'm down for whatever, you know. And I love those guys, man, and those are my OGs who to this day, man, I'd do anything for. You know what I'm saying? If they ever needed anything from me, he had gotten shot. Like a year and a half ago, he got shot.
Oh man.
He got shot. It was like some purge type shit because he was in his car on the freeway, and I guess some dude was driving behind him, and there was like a bit of road rage, and so he just stopped. The guy pulled the next to him, rolled down the window. He said something like, "Hey, fool, you all right?" And he said the last thing he saw was just some fool just go boom, like a flash.
Oh man.
So he got shot, went in through here, boom, boom, bounced around, came out his neck. So he was in the hospital for about a week, right? And he left early at that. They didn't want to let him go. He left early. The next day after he got out of the hospital, he started reporting himself. Boom, 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 boom.
Getting back in shape.
Hitting the bag. He did this for about I want to say maybe like 5 months. Every day he recorded day 135, day 175. Like he did it every day. His face, he had nerve damage, so his face was paralyzed like this, you know. But but he was rapping every day. After he got out, he was rapping, recording. So his face is back to normal.
Because he's going every day.
He's on therapy.
Bro, his face back to normal. It's like you can't tell. But at first you could tell. It was like all like it was stuck. Now it's like
that's a trip.
Yeah, he.
But you know,
that just shows you. That just shows you. Like that's one of the things that just shows you. No matter what happens, if you don't put like effort into just life, bro, and just doing your shit. Like he could have been just stuck.
Yeah.
He could have still had his face paralyzed.
Yeah.
He could have not gotten up and started punching. He would have still, you know what I'm saying? He would have developed something from being in bed all day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that's one of those situations where they say, refuse to lose.
Oh, of course.
Because it sounds like he got hit bad from what you said. He
I'm telling
real bad, you know?
It came bounced around, came out of his neck.
Man.
He had a big ass thing right here. His face paralyzed, half his face paralyzed. It's like, damn, bro. And yeah, now you look at him, he can't even tell you like, what? You gotta show your face.
Salute to that man. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So like I said,
well, I think that kind of speaks to. Well, let me ask you. I'll do it better with a question. Has anyone ever told you before that maybe you don't exactly fit into what some people would think of is the mold of Chicano rap?
Yeah, you know what? I used to. I used to fight that, dude. I used to fight like I'm not Chicano rap. Just because of I didn't want to be associated with and this is like 3-4 years ago, when Chicano rap still had the reputation it had by being associated with
Sure.
the old school Chicano rap look and the jerseys with your name on it.
Right.
I was like, nah, I ain't that, bro. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? And but from what I've realized over the years is like we started this. It's kind of like it had like a rebirth. We started this shit again, And who am I to say I'm not Chicano rap? If that's what I am to you, then I'll embrace it, and I'll be and you know what I'm saying. I just represent my people and myself, my struggles, and like if I'm that to you, then I'm that to you, and I'll be that. You know what I'm saying? Like. It is what it is, and I represent it to the fullest, you know?
That's right. I get that. What I have noticed, though, because something, without even bringing up the subject of Chicano rap, but something you mentioned was that, or that I noticed in what you said was you were brought up in a different way, sort of, than we would see our traditional Chicano rap. And you were very much in the underground, mixing with other cultures. Mm-hmm. You weren't in just one genre, so you mixed. So I think that speaks to what happened here, because you are very much, Chicano, and it does fit in there. But here's what it is: not to be disrespectful to anyone, but just as an outsider, as a critique, an enjoyer of music. How you spoke about cadence, and how if you feel like if someone is biting someone else's cadence, that comes off as unoriginal, and you could be, made fun of for it. And I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna speak for nobody else, but for myself, I noticed that in Chicano rap, which is why Chicano rap, which I was never a huge fan, although I loved Lighter Shade of Brown, was that that's what I think it is. I love Chicano rap. It's just that when I started seeing a repetition of the cadence and also the content, exactly right. It was like, okay, and so that's what I think turned me off of it, because there were some artists like Lighter Shade of Brown. I like some of Mr. Criminal stuff. I like Fat Joe, even though that's East Coast, that's still he's Latino, or however people want to classify it. But definitely yours, I think that kind of makes sense in the way that you were brought up, the way that, Homeboy took you under his wing, and it shows through in the music. And I think it's good. It's like, how to say, refreshing.
Oh, yeah, I think one thing is you're the epitome of an L.A. homegrown, rapper, right? Honestly, I mean, anywhere you go, even New York, it doesn't matter if you're black, brown, or blue. I mean, it's like if that's your thing, you're gonna go ahead and embrace it, regardless of what it is, right? So to me, I don't like classifying anyone into any genre. If you're a rapper and you're good, I don't care if you're black, brown, or gray. I mean, I'm gonna listen to it, and I think that I think that's kind of the issue. I think here in LA is that people, or just in California, I would say, or even further out, is that people want to classify certain people and put them in a box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
And I think that's not it's not productive because again, you know, you might have a fan base over in I don't know in China, right?
Right.
And you know, and at this point they don't, you know, they know you as Misfit, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's kind of the, you know, as an artist, I'm not an artist, but if an artist, that's how I want to be portrayed, not as a Chicano rapper or any. Just I'm a fucking rapper, you know. I do my thing. If you like it, cool. You know, embrace it. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
you know. But I think I like that. You know, again, you're homegrown in LA, and you're mixed with all different cultures.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that it comes across that way in your music. You know what I mean?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able, because these places, they don't exist no more. It was a time. It was just something that happens like once in a lifetime,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And it's like it was the purest form of what we call hip hop. It was so pure, bro. It was the streets, bro. It was the street corner. It was 40 Crenshaw, 43rd, Leimert Park. It was a street corner. Thursday night, one night of the whole week where you could be black, you could be Mexican, you could be Asian, you could be white, you could be yellow, you could be green, purple, whatever color you want, whatever color you were. That one night you could pull up to that spot and ain't nobody gonna trip on you.
It's about the music.
Come through on a Friday though,
Different story.
different story.
Right, uninvited, no.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody, but Thursdays was nobody tripping, you know, and it was just, you know, something that you experience, man. And I feel blessed to be able to be alive during the time, and because really it shaped who I was. It shaped who I am. You know what I'm saying? It really shaped everything that I represent. You know what I'm saying? It's a big part of me, just the L.A. Underground, you know?
Yeah.
Because it taught me how to not be judgmental. It taught me how to carry myself with a certain, you know what I'm saying, respect, and to always push to be better and better and better.
Yeah, man.
So
That's what's
it
up,
molded
yeah.
me into that, yeah.
I like that. So, what was, I mean, I know you talked about, what was his name? The one that took you under his wing?
L.A. Cool the Rifleman.
L.A. Cool the Rifleman.
I love the fucking name, by the way. That's just
Yeah,
dope.
L.A. Cool the Rifleman.
Yeah.
And you mentioned him really just going the extra mile to get you out there and really supporting you. And you mentioned when he would take you out there, and that's a big moment to me, but I want to ask you, what do you feel like was the moment for you where you felt like really, I'm in the game, like I'm really in the mix, I'm doing this. What was that, what did it look like for you?
I think it was when I first felt, okay, I'm in the game. You mean like, well, like
you're not on the bench.
now, like, because you know what I'm saying, because there's you know, the
Levels
LA
to the
Underground
shit.
scene, there's
Yeah.
levels to the shit. The LA Underground scene, and then there's the scene, the shit that we're doing now.
Okay,
You know
well,
what
let's
I'm
talk a
saying?
little bit about both. Let's start
Okay.
in the
So-
LA Underground.
In the LA Underground, I never felt like I made it. I was always a student. I was so humble. I never felt like I made it. I always wanted to learn more, and I just always felt like wow. I was so amazed by every experience that I had.
That's
You know
a
what
great
I'm saying?
fucking answer, bro.
So I never, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I never felt like I made it, because I just always wanted more, you know?
Salute to you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and even now, like, I mean, right now it's a little bit easier because of social media to know exactly where your music's, you know, where it's going.
Okay.
So, but I still don't feel like I made it. Some people tell me I'm humble to a fault, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't you know who you are? I'd be like, what you mean? Like, okay, I guess. Like, nah, like you're this. I'm okay. I get it. That's cool, you know. But if I start thinking like that about myself, like, I don't want to be that dude that's gonna be like, you know, oh, you know. I don't know, man. Humble is the style of the day.
I like it, man.
You know, that's what I learned from another L.A. Underground legend,
Okay.
2Mex. You know,
Okay.
Humble is the style of the day.
I like it, and maybe some people are humble to a fault. I don't, but that's really hard to do. And look how it's worked for you so far by always being humble, being always a student that was able to help you build your craft.
Yeah.
I think, how would you say? All of us could probably take a lesson from that and just being humble to it. And here's something in other subjects I've said, and I think that it applies here, is maybe kind of like you're of the feeling maybe that if I made it, I'll let somebody else tell it. I'll let somebody else tell me I made it.
It's not me. It's not mine.
yeah.
You know? like there's a song where it's like, okay, I say something. Oh yeah, it's my song Napalm. When I go, yeah, I made it. And then I say to where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like I don't know where I'm. You know, like I don't know if I made it, and I just know that I made it to today.
Yeah.
I'm alive right now.
Yeah.
So so every day I've made it because I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's a good philosophy. It's a good philosophy, man.
So is there an artist that you haven't worked with that you would want to work with?
Not really.
Not?
Not really. I mean, I knocked one out the park with somebody who was on my bucket list with the drummer boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was on my bucket list. I got that cracking.
Okay.
Well, the homie from my G, the homie Spooky put that together and linked that up together. And so, you know, other than that, I mean, drummer boy is one of my favorite artists. And other than that, I really don't have any desire to like, oh, I want to work with this person.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I gotta get a song with that motherfucker. Like, you know, yeah, we got that down.
Yeah, when I heard that joint he did over that Stephen Marty beat.
Oh, he's hard. Fool. Yeah.
Man, I was just like, you know what? I don't feel like it could have been done justice any other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was. How are we doing on time, man?
We're good. We got about 26 minutes.
Okay, cool, beautiful. How are you doing on time? You good?
I'm good. Yeah,
All right.
I'm here.
Man, those beers ended up being.
Want to cut it so we can go ahead and kind of take a little
Yeah,
break?
smoke break.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
sure.
26.
All right.
What I want to do